Hi Year 8, welcome to our first geography lesson on YouTube. I hope you're all well. I'm just going to tell you a few pointers that you need to know as we do these lessons because as this is on YouTube, it will go very quickly and you will need to pause it at certain points so then you can do the activities. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to introduce you to the first lesson, which is called Identifying Global Biomes. And now I'm going to show you some keywords that I want you to write down. So after I show them to you, I will tell you to pause the video, and then you can pause the video for about, well, as long as it takes you to write them down. Okay, so let's have a look. First keyword is ecosystem. Now, an ecosystem is a natural environment made up of living and non-living parts. So what do we mean by that? Living and non-living? Well, if you just look outside, you've got lots of non-living parts, which are your houses, your roads, and then you've got the living parts, which are the people and the animals. So that's what you mean by the living and non-living. Now, these can be big and they can be small. For example, small ecosystems can be found everywhere. For example, a pond in your back garden, or they can be huge, like rainforests. A biome is a global scale ecosystem. So these are the big ones that we're talking about: tropical rainforests and deserts. And habitat. And habitats are the places where plants and animals live. So a pond is a habitat. Okay, so now pause this clip for as long as it takes you to write these keywords down. Excellent. Okay guys, so just to remind you that this work is to be handed in on Thursday the 23rd of April. Now you can hand that in any way you like. This can be written on a piece of paper and you can photograph it and email it back to your teacher, or it can be typed up onto Word and you can email that back. You can do a PowerPoint, you can do it any way you like, just as long as you do send it back to either me if I'm your teacher, Miss Edmonds, or Mr. Robbins. And if you see on here, you can see the email addresses that you can send them back. Or if your teacher has contacted you about Teams and how to upload your work there, you can do it by that method. Okay, let's move on. Alright, so let's start looking at these ecosystems then, or these biomes. So we've got some examples here. You've got one here, figure 1. This is an image of a deciduous woodland. Now we'll talk about that word in a minute. And this is found in the UK, so it's a very similar site to what you see around here. Very familiar. And then figure 2, well, this is a desert. You can tell it's a desert, those lovely cactuses there. And this is in the USA, a desert in the USA. So what I want you to do now is just spend 3 minutes writing down the main differences between these two biomes. Okay, and then if you're feeling up for the challenge, what might be influencing these differences? So pause now for 3 minutes. Off you go. Excellent, well done. So let's have a look then. This word deciduous here, you might have heard it before. It's a very, very familiar forest that we get in the UK, and it's where our trees lose their leaves during the winter. So it's the trees that lose their leaves during the winter and then they grow again in the summer, and that's what we know as deciduous. Okay, so this map here is a map of the world, and it shows us where our different biomes are located across the planet. Now if we have a look here, in the key on the map here, it says that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 main biomes on our planet. And they've got here, the green is tropical rainforest, the orange is hot deserts, the light blue there is a tundra, and then the white is where the polar ice caps are, up in the North Pole. You can see it there. So, task here, I'm just going to show you how we do this. It says, describe the distribution of the tundra globally. And it's worth 3 points, 3 marks. And what I've got to do is I've got to figure out what the pattern is. Is there a pattern of what I can see on this map? What's the continental scale? Now that means like how many continents does it go over? Does it go over lots of different continents, or is it just in one? And then countries. How many countries does it go through? Can I name any? So let's have a look. So, first of all, the general pattern. Well, if I look here, I can see that the tundra is up around 66 degrees north of the equator, and I can see that on my latitude line there, where most of that light blue area is along that latitude line. So that would give me 1 mark. Continental scale? Well, look, I can see it's in the northern parts of America here, in North America, right up there near the Arctic Circle, a bit of Alaska and Canada. And I can see here it's northern Europe, and it goes over to Asia as well, right over there in the east. So country level there, I mentioned one already. Look, we've got Canada, got some Russia, and we've got some Norway right at the top there in Europe. Okay. Right, now it's your turn. Give it a go. I'm going to give you 3 minutes now when I say pause. So this time you're looking at hot deserts, so the orange area on this map. Can you do the same thing I did then, but for hot deserts? Pause now. Okay, well done. Let's see how you did. So I'm going to give you some answers now, guys, and you can do the same as we do in class. Get your green pens out, make some changes, give yourself a tick. Okay guys, get your green pens ready, make some changes if you need to, or give yourself a tick. So first of all, what's the general pattern for hot deserts, so the orange areas that you see on your map? Well look, I can see that they're anywhere really between 15 degrees and 35 degrees north and south of the equator. Look, you go all the way down there to Australia and then up to just above 23.5 degrees there up in Asia. Okay, so I said as well there that they're located close to the tropics. So that 23.5 degrees north and south are the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. So if you put that down, guys, give yourself a tick. Continental scale. So look, I've seen the largest ones are found in North Africa. So you can see there, and then also down there in Oceania as well, or Australasia. And you can see a little bit up there, just north of the Tropic of Cancer in North America. Countries, mentioned some already. Australia, biggest one there, and Egypt, or any, you can mention any of the countries there in North Africa there, or the Middle East. Hi guys, so how do these biomes then differ? So there are some factors that make these biomes different from each other. Let's have a look at what they are. First of all, the main one is climate. All different biomes around the world obviously are going to have different climates, and that will determine what are found within those biomes, what they're like. Elevation, so how high up are these ecosystems, these biomes? Are they up really, really high up from sea level, up mountains, or are they quite low down? How much rainfall and fresh water happens and occurs in these biomes? Like, do they have lots of rivers? Do they have lots of lakes? Or are there none at all? An amount of salt water as well. Now that's a really interesting one. because that again will determine what sort of animals that they have in this biome, the sort of plants they have, vegetation, the different types of plants they have in these biomes, how are they different, and again the types of animals and other wildlife that is found there. So let's have a look at this then. I'm going to show you now just the variety of ecosystems that we have on our planet. So here's the first one. We looked at this at the beginning, deciduous forests. See in the map there, you can see in the map up here, if you see my cursor, you can see that it is up here in Europe, got a bit down there in China, and you've got some here on the east coast of the USA. So, how are they different? Let's have a look. This is where I said they were, and they're temperate. That means the temperature, it's not too hot and it's not too cold. Think about the UK, our sort of weather, and that's what these forests like. They need rainfall all year round, and they usually have 4 seasons. So like I said at the beginning, these are the trees that lose their leaves in the winter, and then they are regrown again in the spring, summertime. So they need to have those 4 seasons, and they need a lot of rain. Okay, and the trees shed their leaves. So there you go, that's one. Deciduous forests. Okay, therefore the summers need to be warm and the winters need to be mild. It can't be too cold either. Here's another one. This is quite a familiar one. We've seen this on TV, lots of films. This is called the grassland or the savanna. And you can see in the map there where they're located. So they don't get lots of rainfall during the year. They just get a little bit. And that means that the plants that are found in this location can't grow throughout the year. They've only got a little bit of time to grow when there's rain. And this is when they get dry grass. Okay, you can see it here in the picture. There's lots of dry grass, sort of orangey beige colour there, which suggests that the temperatures are really high and a lot of evaporation happens, so that the heat is making the water evaporate into the atmosphere. You can see there these animals here, they've got very thin fur so that they don't overheat. And it also means that they live in low latitudes. That means they're actually quite close to the equator. This one, Tundra. Now you can see here up in the map here, it's quite far north, very, very cold climates. Okay, so the vegetation here is made up of grasses and moss and only small shrubs and some wildflowers. Not very much grows here because of the temperature. See there, the temperatures are very cold due to the tundra's distance from the equator. You see that they're really far north. And also the ground is covered in permafrost. That literally means the ground is permanently frozen. And again, they don't get much rain up here. Even though it's really, really cold, it's usually snow or it's frost. It's not really rain. So again, that means nothing much can grow. This one, another familiar one, tropical rainforests. You see there again on the map, you can see where they're located. So they are found north and south of the equator, but really, really close to the equator. On or around it, you can see there, you don't get them far north and you don't get them far south. So here, because it's so close to the equator, it is really, really warm all year round. They don't have seasons. And that means they get lots of varied and vast amounts of vegetation. Also, because the climate is humid, it's wet and hot throughout the year. It's always raining. It's a rainforest. That means things can grow all year. This one, hot desert. Okay, let's see about hot deserts. So the largest ones are found in Africa and in Western Asia, as you can see by the map there. Usually around the tropics. That's where you find these hot deserts. They have an extremely dry landscape with some months have no rain whatsoever. It does rain in the desert, it does, but it's not a lot. As it's really hot in the daytime, this makes evaporation rates really high, so any moisture that is on the ground is quickly evaporated during the day. And there is little vegetation, again because it's too hot and it's too dry for plants to grow. Right, now you know all about those different types of biomes that we have around the world. What I want you to do is just imagine that you are on a geography field trip and you have visited one biome that we've looked at. You can choose what one you want to do. I want you to write a postcard back home comparing the biome that you're in to the UK. So remember, the UK is the deciduous forest. So it's this one up here. This is the UK one, the deciduous forest. So I want you to choose any of the others and I want you to write a postcard comparing them. So you've got success criteria down here, and you can see here that you need to describe the location of your biome, the climate of your biome, and the types of vegetation that you get there. And then I want you to be comparative. So you've got to use words like whereas, however, or similarly. All right, and you have to use at least 3 bits of PLC. So that means name the country, tell me the latitude it's in, give some specific vegetation or climate data, whatever you need to give it just that bit more of specific information. Okay, so you've got 20 minutes to do this, guys, but before we do that, let's have a look at an example. Let's go through this again, guys, so you can have a look. There you are, look. The location is given and compared well. The climate comparison is too vague for the UK. Give me some more. What is it like? 4 seasons? Spring, summer, autumn, winter? What happens to it during those seasons? It also needs information on the vegetation in the tundra. What sort of plants do they get in the tundra? So therefore, this does not meet the success criteria. Okay, so now I want you to go back and do your own one, choose your own biome and compare it to the UK deciduous forest. And I'll give yourselves about 20 minutes for this, guys. Okay, and once you're done, remember to email your work back to your teacher. Thanks, guys. See you soon.